Ever since I was born, I never knew what my father looked like. But last month, I saw him for the first time in my life on Facebook. All I had was my mom. I was never interested in finding out who my father was. I never felt bad. Sorry, full screen. Command L ใช่ไหม All I had was my mom. I never was interested to finding out who my father was. I never felt bad or sad about not having one. Maybe I just got used to the fact that of not having father from the day I was born. Anyway, my story about not having dad is predictable and classic. I can sum up for you easily. My mom and dad were teenagers in the 70s. They played the same band. My mom sang and he played guitar. The band covered the stuff like the Carpenters and the other hits from the era. They played at cocktail lounges around town. You have to understand that 30 years ago, Thai society was much more discriminating against women. For women who leave the house after 9 p.m. was already bad enough. And my mom was a nightclub singer. The society didn't see any good in that. For all I know, my dad's family hated her and saw her as a bad showbiz woman. Still, two teenagers fell in love. She got pregnant. And my father didn't know what to do because his family didn't approve of my mom. There must have been a lot of high drama between the two families during the pregnancy, but anyone asked for more details. Just say that my mom decided to keep me, and my dad decided to run away. He just disappeared and left her carrying, delivering, and raising me all by herself. Being a single mom might be very common nowadays, but it wasn't a hip thing to do back then. People talk and criticize. I'm sure my mom must have been bitter, but she was strong enough not to beg and pester the irresponsible man. She just kept on raising me. Oops. As days went by, my mom forgot all the pain, and I grew up without thinking about it at all. When people asked me about my father, I told them he was dead because if I say I didn't know where he was, annoying question would follow. People always want to know. Sometimes I feel like they want to know my story much more than I do. So I would tell them he was dead because the conversation would somehow end quickly, followed by, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," or "How did he die?" How did he die? How did he die is my favorite questions. When I was a kid, I cooked up many versions of his death, starting from the basic like car accident or cancer, or to battlefield death because he was a soldier. Or sometimes I said he was a policeman and got shot by the bad guys. But my favorite version was the one that my dad worked as a park ranger in the north. I told people that he only came home a few days a month. And in a cold winter day, he went looking for 3 lost Boy Scouts. And he found them standing frozen with fear because a hungry bear was approaching them. So, to protect the 3 Boy Scouts, he tackled the bear to give a chance for the 3 boys to run away. But he couldn't manhandle the strong bear, so he was eaten alive. And once I finished my story, people would go, "Oh," or they would be in tears, "No more questions." And as I grew up, lying wasn't much fun anymore. So I went back to the basic like car accident or stuff like that because people die from car accident every day. And once I got in the university, question about my family background is kind of faded. Still, there were mornings when I look at my face in the mirror while brushing my teeth. And sometimes I wonder, what part of my face I got from my father? I knew I got my mom's eyes and nose, I've been told that I look so much like her when I smile. And I got my grandfather's forehead, and I think my lips are similar to my grandmom. Anyway, those wonders are fleeting. They didn't happen a lot, and once I finished brushing my teeth, my brain switched to another thing. So, back to how I found my father on Facebook. Before I used to Google his name and his last name, but I never found anything. And I thought he might have changed his name because it's kind of highly possible because Thai people change names according to superstitions. Or maybe he was a forgotten person without any presence on the internet. Or he was really eaten alive by that bear. But last month, while I was waiting for the birthday in the middle of the night, I tried searching his name on Facebook. What happened was I felt like falling down from the tall building when search results presented a thumbnail picture of a man in a wide brim hat. He reached down and said, my figure was a mile. If I was to click, I would find out the answer to my question while brushing my teeth. The truth is not out there, it was lying on my index finger. So two sides of me fought. One screamed, take a look, take a look! While the other frowned and said, oh, come on, don't do it, because you're going to be stuck with it forever. But the reason I didn't want to click on that thumbnail was because I'm a graphic designer. Even in small size, it's so obvious that the photo was badly photoshopped. You know, it's a kind of portrait with ugly filters and exaggerated color adjustments, so let alone his clothes. Is that still people wearing wide brim hats for the profile picture on Facebook? It's as lame as people saluting when posing for pictures. So I didn't want to find out that my dad was only old man who spent his time photoshopping his pictures. And my imaginary dad was much cooler. My father's profile picture should be that of a man in tailor blazer, smiling easily, looking relaxed in the bright meeting room. You know, like those businessmen in Getty Images. Anyway. Then I click anyway. Wow, no, not him. Then I click. So, my father's lameness was as expected. He didn't know how to use Photoshop properly, and his chosen filters were those dreamy fantasy ones. He's a man aged around 55 years old, wearing green t-shirt, faded jeans, and this Canon camera hanging loosely around his neck. And in the photo, he stands in the middle of the luscious green field under the bright blue sky, made possible by Photoshop, of course. He probably wants to say that, look, I'm a middle-aged man who loves photography and nature. This is so lame. It is so uncool. Oh. To me, I think it's our generation's duty to make sure that our parents use appropriate Facebook profile picture. Anyway, so my dad's profile was locked, so I could only see I could only see 3 more photos of himself in addition to the wide brim hat one. It's beautiful. The first one is of him acting like a big time photographer, and another is him standing with his 3 friends. And the third one is him wearing the same brim hat in the middle of tulip field, so I guess that was taken somewhere in the Netherlands. And so after that 3 lame photos of my dad, I browsed through his photographic works album, which is only one that, I mean, if you're not his friend, that's the only album that, what's happening to my tongue? Hang on. Okay, if you're not his friend, that's the only album you can get him. So, and his photo, his work are as lame as his profile picture. You know, there are those close-up shots with different flowers. You know, with high resolution, just like postcard from the World Garden Fair. Or something like bright yellow flowers with super green background, and there's a fat bee sucking flowers. Something like that. Or a landscape picture of a farmer busy harvesting in golden fields set against a pretty cloud and blue sky. Canon might want to buy back his camera if they only knew that he would take such boring pictures. So when I finished looking at every picture, I copied his email from his Facebook and Googled it. The surprise never ends. I found his name listed in the reunion document of a private high school around Sapan Kwai area, and I used to live 10 steps away from that school for 5 years. So chills went down my spine when I imagined that we were only 30 meters apart at one point in time. Anyway, I continued to Google his email until I found something that made me turn off my computer and decided to leave him alone. I discovered his profile in several matchmaking websites. So, in summary, my father is just an old man with no artistic inclinations, no family, and looking for love. It's just a total opposite from what he was when he was young. He was a young, irresponsible musician who ran away from love. Oh wait, no fucking children? What a bitch. Anyway, now I've come to the conclusion. I forgive him for everything and only hope that our paths will never cross. My questions were, however, answered. My facial structure is similar to his. We have the same foreheads and the same cheeks. I'm glad to find out that I've got my mom's smile, because if I had his, I would never want to smile anymore. It took me almost a week to relate all this to my closest friends. There are a lot of friends whose relatives work in the same organization with my father does, and they suggested that they could set up the meeting, but I asked them not to do that, because my life has moved on beyond the melodrama, and I'm living my life exactly the way I want. So meeting him is unnecessary. He's not my father. He is only a sperm owner. But I understand my friends' good intention, because we all grew up watching HBO and sentimental news and Hollywood movies where family or lover meeting scenes are full of close-up shots and dramatic music in the background. And more than 50% of the lead actors or actresses lose at least one parent since childhood. And the funny thing is, when the lead actress recounts her loss of parent story, she will end up with the first kid or love scenes. But in real life, it's never like that, trust me. Every time I tell the guy that I like that my father has passed away, love scene never follows. They often want to know how he died and if it was a tragic death with dismembered neck and messy crops. So I don't want to meet him. You know, one reason that I don't want to meet him, because I'm afraid of his voice. Or even if he doesn't speak, I don't want to know how he coughs or what his surroundings sound like. To me, I believe that the memories come from both sound and visuals. When you recall a place, you often remember the sound that you heard when you were there. It can be the sound of silence in the field or the busy noise in the big city. So for me, just seeing the visual with no sound doesn't count as complete memory. And once it's not complete memory, it can't last. And once it's not memory, it can never hurt me. Thank you.